because I got sick of approaching so much. Turned to like chasing and trying way too hard. Approaching less, leaving the date early, and making myself less available and being more picky actually started to work for me when I started doing that. Another car video. I guess car is just the place to do it. I want to title this video, Men, Stop Going to Bars and Clubs. So if you still want to go to bars and clubs and you're super passionate about it, cool, this video is not for you, keep going. But if you've got that internal battle that I started to feel when I was like 26, 27, 28 years old, you know, kind of getting into my late 20s, even despite the fact that I started to figure out women and I started to get my dating life to be more active at that age, my standards went up and I just started to draw a bit more, I guess, like attention and commitment beyond what I was before. Like my dating life was just getting a little bit better at that point. Despite the fact that that was happening, I started having this internal battle of, like, whereas when I was in college, I used to go out and party a lot and it was awesome. Because I was very fortunate to be at a party college, and it got me around a lot of people, and I got to go spend time with people out and about. We drank a lot. You know, it wasn't the healthiest lifestyle, but it was fun. Going into my 20s, early and mid 20s, I stumbled upon, like, you know, the dating advice for men and kind of like some pickup artist stuff, even though I always tried to keep it more on the authentic, honest type of advice. That's the advice that I tried to take and I tried to live. And I just tried to do what worked, I guess. I tried to build myself into a man that was most attractive to women at that point. And when I was like 23, 24, 25, and I was going out a lot and I was approaching a lot of women. At first I did it on my college campus when I graduated college. Then I started doing it at the bar. And I even met some people like there's like a community of guys online that you could meet who all took dating advice and went out and approached women at bars and stuff. And I even ended up coaching for a little while during COVID. Or sorry, not during COVID, right after, because everything went online. So like online coaching became a big thing. You probably have gotten, if you have a Facebook account, you probably got DMs from like coaches, or you maybe sought out their advice yourself. Anyway, I wanted to make this video, Stop Going to Bars and Clubs, for anybody who can relate to what I'm about to say. So when I was 26, 27, 28, I started to have this battle between trying to convince myself that bars and clubs were still fun. It's like, no, it's just me. It's up to me to have fun. It's up to me to just, you know, get in that loose state, practice the things that dating coaches have taught me to do, you know, just get into a state to meet women out and about and to just be this fun guy, versus I'm spending a lot of time staying up really late and putting in a lot of effort just for this temporary pleasure. Like maybe I go home with a woman and I wake up the next day and I'm like, cool, and then it's like back to normal, whatever. It's just a constant cycle of temporary pleasures. And the loss to reward is just not worth it to me. Staying out too late, giving a ton of time and attention to some annoying woman who just wants attention herself, or just wants that attention from everybody, you know, out of the bar or the club. And then just waking up the next day and not having any commitment from her because it was just a fun fling. And I think for like the power started to shift to where, when I say power, I mean like, okay, think about it this way. Let's say back in the 70s, I wasn't alive in the 70s, but I've heard stories just going out on the weekend, partying a little bit, and then going home with a woman was pretty standard in a place like California. I just heard stories like that. Like if you were a cool dude, you would go home with a new woman every weekend. And then more recently, like, you know, when I was like 26, 27, 28, so like, you know, 5 years ago or a couple years ago, 30 now. So a couple years ago, it started to get harder and harder, and you could stand out if you had, you know, if you were a confident guy, but the power dynamic, that's what I'm talking about here. Like women started to get more power, like specifically out and about, like out at the clubs. Like guys would chase more. You'd have to do like more chasing, and then you'd have to like go and like learn what women are attracted to. And if you got into like the pickup stuff, you'd have to like put on this facade of like this cool guy, or you'd have to like, for years and years and years, you'd have to like work on yourself, which I started to see results. Women started to take me a little bit seriously when I was like 27, 28. And that's right after that, I just kind of got out of the whole scene. Started to become more of my goal was then long-term relationship, and I was glad. So, glad to be out of that. Glad to have a lifestyle shift. It was like a relief. And, yeah, so I just wanted to bring up in this video, like, is it worth it? All of this effort that you have to put in? And the pickup artists and the dating coaches online will tell you, well, you just have to, certain ones of them will tell you just have to do this, you just have to do that, you just have to keep going out and approaching women. Like some of them, I was one of these where the idea was just to keep approaching, and eventually you end up confident enough. You're so confident that women just respond really well to you, which there is some truth to that. But I saw diminishing returns after a certain point where I was just approaching, and approaching less, and leaving the date early, and making myself less available, and being more picky actually started to work for me when I started doing that, because I got sick of approaching so much. It just turned to like chasing and trying way too hard. So there's diminishing returns at a certain point, and you might say that you're coming from the wrong place, whatever. I don't want to overthink this or over-explain it. Some people will tell you to approach. Other people will tell you, get a really good online profile and impress people with your online profile, your Instagram account, or, dress really well so that you look high value or whatever. But it's so much effort for like such a little returns. And I think the best advice I can give you is whatever your favorite hobby is, like go all in on it. Because if you're a nerd and you like going to Comic-Con, you're probably going to meet somebody at Comic-Con. I'm not like, but you shouldn't expect it though. I don't want to guarantee this stuff. Or if you're really into the gym, go all in on being in the gym. That's how you get a fit girlfriend, is that you see these gym bros with like gym girlfriends. But anyway, so whatever your hobby, like it doesn't have to be either of those two. Whatever your thing is, I think the best advice would be to go all in on that. But maybe you can give better advice in the comments. I just wanted to share in this particular video. The point of this video is to point out that if you're going out to bars and clubs and you're having this battle in your mind of like, oh man, I know I should be going out and chasing and improving my confidence and chasing women. But then you're also realizing like, oh, maybe I'm following this dating coach and he brags about having a ton of women and like getting laid all the time. And then you start just like looking at the types of women that he's showing in his videos to brag about, and they're like not the type of women that you want to get with, really. Like you take a close look at them, you're like, well, it's cool that he has women around him, but that one's got like a nose ring and like too much eye makeup, and she looks like she smokes all the time, and like, I don't know about this. And you're putting in like so much effort to get these women, you'll have a lot better, you'll feel a lot better, you'll have a lot better results, you'll just do a lot better if you just stop pouring so much energy into that and pour your energy into something more constructive, just involving you becoming a better person. And I know that's the advice that a lot of dating coaches will give. They'll be like, focus on you. But then it always comes back to like the external result. And if you're always focused on the external result, you'll get in this cycle of never-ending pleasure. Like you'll constantly be chasing getting laid. And then when you're getting laid, maybe like me, you'll get laid with somebody who finally it's like, wow, this person's like really attractive. But then you realize the next day, like you've been chasing that and now there's no commitment from that person. And cool, you got laid, but like, what was the point? All that work just for like one night of pleasure, and then you wake up and you feel the same the next day and you're like the same person. It's like, I'm telling you, Eckhart Tolle, I guess, had a quote I heard years ago, and I say I guess because I think I remember somebody quoting him saying this. I don't know if it's from his book or whatever, but he said the only thing worse than not getting what you want is getting what you want. Because it's all that loop of chasing external validation. It's chasing something external, thinking that's going to make you happy. And you hear a lot of people talking about like really loving the process and falling in love with the process of getting better. And you start to kind of realize what that means, because the external stuff doesn't, like hitting the goal doesn't really make you as happy as like the work, the everyday work. You should just enjoy that, and then you'll always be happy. I don't know if happiness is the word or fulfillment, whatever, but let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching.